first glimpse here of the damage. So inside here I figured would be the worst. Yeah, that definitely saw water. The water line you can see here on this bench. So if I kind of like go around the room, you can see where the water went. My bike didn't actually move, so, but it shows where the water was. And then of course you can see on the floor here, everything is covered in mud. One of the crazy things is, as soon as I walked in the house, because the power was still actually on, when I bought this freezer, I left it on top of, I put it on top of a piece of styrofoam that I got when I bought the freezer, and I think that saved the freezer. I actually think the freezer kind of floated on top of the water, and then the freezer kind of fell over, and it leaned against my little counter here, and I think that saved the freezer because the freezer didn't totally go underwater. It did a little bit, and I'm surprised actually that it's still working, but it still works. And everything inside, believe it or not, is actually frozen. So I don't think I lost all my food, but I'm not sure because it may have just refroze like in the last couple of days. You can see the damage. Like, this is totally useless. This is totally garbage. If I open it up, you can see inside it's all covered in mold, and it's just totally destroyed. Everything just collapsed inside, and some of my foods and stuff like that went underwater. But yeah, you can see, pretty nasty and stinks pretty bad. But all in all, yeah, I lost some stuff. Have like a little DVD player thing there. It's totally useless and gone. In this room, which I thought would be really bad. It's actually not too bad. My weight bench the water didn't get up to the padding. It just covered the feet. So it didn't touch the padding, which is great because then it just didn't destroy it. You can see some of my weights are covered with dirt, and you know, the flooring here is really bad. Some of the stuff over in the corner there got totally destroyed. But actually, you know, other than, you know, I feel sorry for the landlords. Their cupboards and stuff are going to be all ruined. You know, this is the laundry room. It got hit the worst. There's my laundry machine. Oh, you can't see it because it's so dark. There we go. The laundry machine, I think, is toast because the water level is halfway up the laundry machine, so we'll see. And then stuff that I just had on the counters never got touched, so but it's mostly just, you can see the dirt, the mud that was left behind. I actually thought there would be like sticks and just like leaves and like mud and all kinds of stuff, but actually it's not so bad. And can see actually the watermark on this water bottle. It was sitting there full of water. Obviously it didn't float, and the water didn't quite make it up to the neck of it, so that's good. It didn't destroy my water, so I can still drink it. But yeah, this is the damage from Ige and Typhoon Ige. And unfortunately my backpack, it was in the corner in that room, and it's totally soaked and dirty, but nothing a little wash can't fix, I don't think. My little fridge here, it never really got damaged, but what did happen when the power went out, some of the things went rotten. So it stinks a little bit, so I'm gonna have to throw some of that stuff out, but that's no big deal. But at least the fridge is still okay, so that's great. Yeah, good to see my bicycle still intact. This thing obviously floated over here and just landed here afterwards. But yeah, so there is some damage. My door doesn't close anymore. I had to really force it to get it open. I could barely get in here, and now I can't get it shut, so it's gonna have to just stay like that for, I guess. So my plan is now I'm gonna be moving out, and gonna go back to Baguio for a couple months. I'll be headed to Japan in October for 1 month. I'll be doing lots of my classes for you guys while I'm in Japan, doing tours, showing you guys around and teaching some English. And then I'll be back here in the Philippines again, and I'll go to El Nido, which I will do some classes out of there, and you guys can see El Nido. And then I'll be heading back to Canada. So being in this situation made me think of two words that seem similar, but they do have a distinct difference. And those words are panic and frantic. So imagine that I was actually here in this apartment when it started to flood. I would feel panic. Why? Because panic is associated with danger, maybe a threat to yourself or to your life. And we use this word to explain that. So for example, let's change it. Maybe it's an earthquake. You would feel panic because you don't know what to do in that situation. It's a threat to you, it's a threat to your life. So when we use panic in a sentence, we use it with that sense in mind, that type of a feeling. Now, frantic is different. It seems like it might be the same. Oh, it was a panic, it was very frantic. But frantic we use more like time. So you're in a hurry to do something. There's no stress, there's no danger. You're just trying to move quickly. So we can actually use them both in the same sentence because they don't have exactly the same meaning with each other. So I might say something like, when I was in the apartment and I could see the apartment starting to flood, I was in a panic. And I had to move in a frantic way in order to move everything to a safe place. Well, I wasn't here in the apartment, so I wasn't able to move the things to a safe place, but just imagine if that was the case. So frantic can be modified into an adverb, which would become frantically, but you have to associate it with a verb. So I could say, I frantically moved, or I moved frantically, which means I did it in a hurry. You can also modify panic, but it's going to be panicky, and that's going to stay as an adjective. There is no adverb with panic. Panickily, no, can't do it. So that's the difference between the two. One is actually the difference in meaning is quite different, although they do seem like they could be used together. And also that frantic can be modified and panic can become panicky, but it can't become an adverb. Okay? So I am going to show you guys what this place looks like now. Okay, so 3 days later and 5 people working, we were able to get this place clean. So this is afterwards. There's still a little bit of dirt in our laundry room, but for the most part we got everything pretty clean. The freezer actually survived. So when you could see in the first video, it was tipped over, but the orange light was possibly on, I'm not sure. But the freezer actually survived, and it kept everything inside cold. I think because it has this glass on top, and the freezer had a really good quantity of ice built up inside of it, and it was also sitting on a styrofoam, which helped it float, so it stayed afloat. This room, which was a complete disaster, is much better. Yeah, I lost the laundry machine. This, you can see the damage from the flood. We tried to clean it, but it's made of a really cheap wood, so it just completely fell apart. It's like really unstable now too, but we're gonna still try to save it, take it back to Baguio. But yeah, the fridge survived because it was sitting on top of that, so it never ever saw water, so that was good. And yeah, everything's clean, so just waiting for the truck to arrive, and I'll be leaving this place, and I'll see you guys in the next video.